I know changing from one chord to another can be really frustrating sometimes. When I first started playing guitar, everything was new and exciting. But after a while, when I couldn't get from one chord to another so it sounded like music, I started to think maybe something's wrong with me. I wish I'd known what I know now. But you're in luck. I'm going to explain to you the 5 reasons you're finding it difficult to change chords. But more importantly, I'm going to explain to you the solutions so you can get on to making beautiful music with the guitar. Let's do this. Number 1, and the most likely reason I've found, is that you don't know the chord well enough. Think about it for a minute. It makes sense. And I've been just as guilty as anyone around this. We're all kind of in a hurry to get somewhere, and it seems like if you watch somebody playing guitar, it's just not that hard. But it's kind of like if you were to go on and learn algebra, let's say, and you didn't know basic mathematics, you'd really be struggling with algebra. Matter of fact, wouldn't you probably say you wouldn't have a chance? Everybody could kind of imagine that. Everybody knows you need basic math before you can do more complex math. But think about it for a minute. When you go to finger a chord and change to another chord, there's a lot of stuff going on here. And if you're not confident with the chords that you're trying to finger, you're kind of dead in the water right there. For an example, if I'm changing from the G to the D chord, if I fumble on that D chord even a little bit, there's no way I can get there in time with the rhythm of a song, and considering I'm strumming all the same time. The way to solve this is to spend enough time on the individual chords and practice them so you have a reasonable level of competency fingering the chord to start with. Then when you change from one to the other, you're 80% of the way there. You've got a few other things going on, but you're adding them to what you already know. One way to know if you're competent enough at individual chords is to time yourself fingering the chord. For example, let's say I'm learning to finger the G chord properly. I'm going to give myself a count of 5 and get there by that count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good, got it. Now I'm going to lessen the count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, the pressure's on. Now down to 3. 1, 2, 3. Not there. Okay, let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. Get to where you can count 1 or at the most 2 and get to the chord. Then you're ready to do the next chord. If I were going from G to D, I would do the same thing for a D chord. I'd practice it, get myself some pressure basically to get there in time. I might even try setting a metronome so I don't have to worry about the beat. But it doesn't really matter whether you use a metronome or you just count. The point is to create a pressure situation that you keep up at the ante a little bit. And it's kind of fun. It becomes kind of a game. When you can get there quickly under that kind of pressure, you're ready to start adding another chord and switching between the two. Number 2 is trying to play too many chords too soon. In other words, I see students come to me and say, I know 24 chords. And I can see they can actually play the chords, so show me a few. But getting from one to the other, they kind of skipped an important step there. I remember when I first started, I felt like it was a badge to be able to say I knew so many chords. But in fact, I was in the same position. I couldn't change smoothly from one chord to another. And it creates a lot of stress for me. I felt like something was wrong with me. Well, the way to do it, and now I know better, is to practice 1, 2 chords, going from one to the other, then add a third. Now you can play a heck of songs with 3 chords, then you can keep going from there. If I were working on 3 chords, G, C, and D, I'd practice going from G to C. And once that was going, I'd test myself with a metronome, make sure I could at least do it at a slow tempo. Then I would practice probably going from C to D, kind of work that little part out, then put the 2 together, G to C to D. Again, in some kind of tempo, so I can kind of test and see if I could do it on time. Then I would try to play a song with those 3 chords. It's actually kind of relaxing because you'll find out pretty quickly you're actually more talented than you thought you were when you're not trying to leap a 3-story building with a single bound. Number 3, you're going too fast. I've seen many students who can play the chords and then get from one to the other, but they're moving away and then they slow down to get to the next chord. After a while, it gets to be a habit and you kind of don't even realize you're doing it. The way to solve this is to go slow. Start at a very slow pace that you can comfortably get from one chord to the other, and then speed up little at a time. All the while making sure you can actually change smoothly from one to the other without slowing down. This is where a metronome really comes in handy. You can use it, first of all, to make sure you're accurate with your tempo. I know when I first started out, and I see this with beginning students, they speed up and slow down. They don't realize it after a while. And this will keep you on track. But the second reason is you can make a game out of it and kind of see your tempo increasing over time. And because it's kind of fun, you'll stick with it. Number 4, have a chord changing strategy. Now, that's a whole separate video. There are many different techniques, including using the same finger on the same string or seeing a common pattern. I'll link to another video where I go more into that. And that's something we go into in depth in my Real Guitar Success membership site. So know that that's available, and even a little strategy will help you. Now, it's not meant to be something that you use indefinitely. It's meant to be sort of like sophisticated training wheels on your bicycle. You eventually want to get past that and just change from the chord, all the fingers all at one time. But it really helps to get you going in that direction. And last, but definitely not least, is you haven't practiced enough yet. And let's say you've picked a couple chords that you want to work on, and you've really spent the time to get to know those chords, tested yourself, that you can finger the chord within a few seconds. You've practiced going from one to the other very slow and picked up the speed. You've added a third chord and done the same thing. And you're still struggling a little bit. You probably just haven't practiced enough yet. And it'll take more time and patience. We live in a society that promises quick and fast is the ideal. And I am influenced just as much as everybody else. But I know from experience that there are some things that have to develop organically. And music is one of them. Not only because it works that way, but you actually get more enjoyment out of it by just following the process. So be patient, practice, and keep at it. So I hope you found this helpful, and more importantly, I hope you take action on it. Now, I have a question for you. Have you found some things that have helped you to change chords? Please let us know in the comments so other people can benefit from it. This is day 14 of my 30 days of guitar coaching. If you appreciate what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up. And maybe even better, let me know if there's some videos that I can make that you think would help both you and maybe other people as well. I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye.